Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is Tausif, and I'm speaking to you live from Madison, Wisconsin. And right before starting this live stream, I was looking outside, okay, through the window, and it is snowing a lot. It's cold, it's snowing, this is winter in full swing. And wherever you are, I hope that you are staying warm. Stay warm, stay healthy, stay happy. And as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in for this live stream, okay? My friends, I have been live streaming for 2 years now, and I'm very grateful for the support that I've received from all of you so far. So thank you so very much. If you are new here, just make sure you subscribe to stay connected. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, participate in the live chat, and I appreciate your support. So my friends, there are some very important developments regarding Greenland. That's right. That's right. We're going to be talking about Greenland again. Like I said last time, that Greenland is a topic that we have to continue to discuss. If you say, Toss, if you've done two live streams, 3 live streams, 4 live streams to talk about Greenland, why again? Well, because there are new developments. As we get more information, as we learn more about what's happening, we have to discuss those. So this is going to be an ongoing topic, I feel. And my friends, I believe that once I share the information with you, the information that I want to share during this live stream, once I share the information with you, I believe that you are going to be very, very happy. Now, I cannot guarantee that, obviously. I don't know for sure what makes a person happy when we're discussing the news. Different people react to the news differently. There are liberals out there. There are conservatives. There are those who are in the middle, independents. And the same news can generate different reactions in different people. Some are happy, some are not. So I can't guarantee that you're going to be happy, but if we have similar thoughts, if we have similar viewpoints, if you think, if you agree with me most of the time, I think you are going to be happy when I tell you this news. Now, my friends, President Trump is in Switzerland, and as you may know, as President Trump departed for Switzerland, as he left the United States, took the plane, heading towards Switzerland, there was a delay, okay, due to a minor electrical issue on Air Force One. This was actually breaking news when it happened. I had gotten an alert on my phone, like the plane's turning around, the plane's coming back. And obviously, instantly, I was wondering, like, what is going on? Why is the plane coming back? What's going to happen? And then we found out that there was a minor electrical issue, nothing major. And then there's always a plan B, right? Okay, what if there's an issue with one plane. What do you do? Well, there's always another plane that's ready. I mean, this is the President of the United States, the most powerful person in the world we're talking about. So Air Force One returned to the US, and President Trump boarded another plane, and then he took off for Switzerland, okay? And then he reached the European country after some delay. So there was some delay, but he did reach his destination. Now, my friends, we all were wondering, I know you were, many of you were, I was too. We all were wondering what conversations the president, Donald J. Trump, US president, would have with other European leaders. Okay? Regarding Greenland, that's the focus of our conversation. Hold on a second here. We were wondering what conversations President Trump would have with other European leaders regarding Greenland. What kind of negotiations would be taking place? Would the conversations be fruitful or not? Would the conversations be productive, constructive, or not? Will there be areas of agreement or not? Good to see you. We got, is that Freshly? Did you change your name, Freshly? I'm looking at the live chat. Is it Freshly? I see a different screen name, so please confirm. Salerno is here. Others are joining. That's great. Others are joining. Freshly, good to see you. It's been a while. Freshly says, yes, sir. Freshly, good to see you. We got Steven from Southern Illinois. This is awesome. Hey, all of a sudden, we got all the friends tuning in, participating in the live chat. This is great. Thank you, my friends. Make sure you like this video. This is a topic that is so important, so I'm glad that you all are here. So let's move this conversation forward, and you let me know your thoughts as we proceed. So there were questions in people's minds about, okay, President Trump's going to Switzerland. He's going to be meeting with the European leaders. There'll be a lot of important people there. Everyone's going to be thinking about, you know, economic issues and trade issues and other defense-related issues. There'll be leaders who will get together, talk about so much, right? And we knew that Greenland would be a topic. Greenland. Of course, we always have the confidence that President Trump will secure great deals, which is why we elected him, because we have that confidence, because we know, because President Trump has proven himself. He has proven to the American people that he can deliver on the promises made. And that's why we voted for him, because we saw all the great things he did during his first term. In spite of all the challenges, he delivered on the promises made. Whether you talk about border security, tax cuts, creating more opportunities for hardworking Americans, whether you talk about cutting red tape, reducing the size of the government, strengthening the military, supporting law enforcement, strengthening America's relationship with the rest of the world, with our allies. You know, President Trump has proven himself. He has clearly shown that he can get things done, which is why we voted for him again. And so whenever President Trump is flying to an event, He's going into a meeting. He's welcoming foreign leaders for a meeting. He's going overseas, where we always know that in negotiations, in conversations, in efforts to resolve disputes, President Trump will always do the right thing. We know that. We know that he will secure great deals. And I think in this case also, President Trump did just that. Alan is supporting President Trump. There are others. Let's see who is in support of MAGA. Freshly is. Absolutely. I know. And there are others. Thank you so very much, everyone. Thanks for being here. More than 100 people watching. Let's get that number up. Like this video. Salerno is saying, art of the deal, MAGA. Hey, listen. Salerno, I've been talking for a while, but Salerno has really summed it up nicely. I've been using so many words to explain to you what Salerno did in just a few words. Salerno wrote, art of the deal. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Everything that I said so far, it can be summed up simply by saying art of the deal. He knows, President Trump knows, the art of the deal. And freshly wrote in support of American First, absolutely freshly. So my friends, there is a post on Truth Social, a post from President Trump. And I'm going to read to you what I have it right in front of me. I've printed that out, so I don't even have to look at the screen. I've printed that out. I can read to you President Trump's words from that post. He wrote, based upon a very productive meeting that I've had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as discussions progress. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and various others, as needed, will be responsible for the negotiations. They will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter, end quote. This is a very, very helpful, powerful, and great statement. My friends, in such a short span of time, we received a wonderful update from President Trump. This is one great thing out of many great things. This is one great thing about our president, Donald Trump, 45th president, 47th president, same person, Donald Trump. This is one of many great things about him, that he does not make us wait. We don't have to wait for a long period of time to find out what's happening. Okay, President Trump went to Switzerland. He's meeting with the European leaders. They're having conversations. There are issues to be discussed. Okay, discussions are taking place. President Trump has his team. What's going on? What are they doing? What are the different leaders talking about? Are things moving in the right direction? Is President Trump making sure that whatever action he's taking, it's focused on the idea of America first? What's happening? So we have all these questions that pop up, and our minds racing, and we're just thinking, okay, what is going on? What is going on? When are we going to learn? When are we going to get an update? And you know what? President Trump, he does not make us wait. We don't have to wait for too long. He gives us very prompt updates in real time often. We don't have to wait to find out what's being done, what progress is being made. He gives us information, something that we can all appreciate. Now, my friends, I've been doing live streams for 2 years now. I've been doing live streams for 2 years now. More than 2 years, I think, at this point. I just have to double check, but I think it may be a little over 2 years. And over these 2 years, I've seen many people who criticized me. They criticized me because of my viewpoints, because of what I believe, because of what my principles are, because of how I lean politically. They criticize me because of that. They don't like my policy proposals. They don't like the things I support. They don't like how I freely speak my mind, I express myself. They don't like me for my policies, for my ideology. But then there are others who criticize me simply because they don't like me. Maybe they don't like my personality, and it's not about what I say. It's not about what I believe. It's not about what I advocate for. It's not about what policies I criticize. They simply don't like me. That's it. Okay? It's not about policy differences. It's not about different viewpoints. Just that they don't like me, and as a result of that, whatever I say, they criticize. Now, to those people, I'm going to say only one thing. Please keep the bitterness aside. Don't focus on the bitterness, okay? Think rationally. Think with reason. Think in a fair manner. Think in an impartial manner. If you don't like me, that's fine. That's fine, all right? If you're like, I don't like that guy, Tosif. I don't like what he looks like. I don't like how he speaks. I don't like his voice. I don't like anything about him. All right, that's fine. I'm not trying to change your mind, but at least think impartially about what I'm saying. The points that I'm trying to make. Think in a fair manner about the content that I'm discussing, the ideas that I'm discussing, my analysis about pressing social and political issues. Think in a fair and impartial manner about what it is that we're talking about, and keep your bias aside. Look carefully at the information that I'm presenting, and most importantly, think about the great steps, the wonderful steps that are being taken to strengthen our country militarily, economically. Think about all that. Be fair in your analysis. Be impartial in your assessment. And you may oppose President Trump. You may oppose President Trump, but you know what? There's one thing that you cannot deny. no matter how much you oppose President Trump, and for whatever reason, there's one thing that you cannot deny. If you are being honest with yourself, you cannot deny this. You cannot deny the fact that this framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland is going to be a great one. That's right. If you think deeply, put your bias aside, and be fair, be honest with your own self. If you are an American, you must recognize the fact that this framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland is going to be a great one, and thanks to President Trump and his administration for making this happen. Do you agree with me, my friends? I see a lot of our other friends tuning in also. Did I see Kay Cooper? Kay Cooper, are you here? Thank you, Kay. From the great state of Texas. Kay Cooper's here. And we got another friend. We got Evelyn. I think I saw Evelyn's name. Evelyn from the wonderful, beautiful state of Nevada. Okay. Evelyn's here. Did I see DSAR? DSAR, are you over here? Did I see that name? I don't know. Did I miss that? But thank you all for being here, my friends. Make sure you like this video, share this video. I have a lot more to talk about, so do not go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. My friends, no matter what your political affiliation, if you are going to be honest with yourself, you will recognize the fact that Donald J. Trump, whatever he's doing to secure a great deal regarding Greenland. And it's a great step for the future of our country. Now, there was a question. There was a big question, and we saw that question come up. We saw that on social media. We heard that when you turned on television and you were watching the different networks, the news. There was a question that came up. And the question was whether President Trump would use force to gain control of Greenland. Some folks in the media seemed to suggest that President Trump would forcibly take control of Greenland. There were voices in the media who were hinting at that possibility. They were saying, oh, it's possible, it may happen. The President Trump may use force to take control of Greenland. Some were proactively and prematurely drawing that conclusion, and using that as their talking point, they were criticizing President Trump. As if they knew the future. Like, oh, we know this is what he's going to do. He's going to forcibly take control of Greenland. Come on. How can you know? How can you know prematurely one way or another? How can you know that? International relations, how many times have I said that you cannot predict what's going to happen? You cannot. Maybe you can, with your knowledge of history, with your understanding of the current political landscape, maybe you can try to make an educated guess. Maybe you can try to explore the different possibilities and choose one and say, based on historical information, historical data based on the things we've seen in the past, combined with an understanding of the current situation, the current context, this possibility is more likely. Yeah, you can share different statistical probability. You can do that. But you cannot draw a firm conclusion, oh, this is what Trump's going to do. Oh, and that is such a bad move. He shouldn't do that. This is what he's going to do, and it's going to be so bad. It's going to be the end of the world. You cannot do that. So anyone who suggested, as if it's known with certainty, anyone who suggested that, oh, Trump's going to use force to gain control of Greenland, that's wrong. That's wrong. One thing I have learned from being in politics, and one thing that I've learned as a human being, keep politics aside, just things that you learn from life. You cannot predict the future. You can't. You can talk about likelihood of something happening versus something else happening, but you don't know for sure. We don't. And anyone who claims to know what's going to happen in the future is not being humble. Human beings have limitations. And one of the limitations is we don't know where time will take us. So that's something to keep in mind. And more importantly, for those who are political commentators, those who analyze global affairs, those who study geopolitical incidents and trends and occurrences, they should never draw a firm conclusion and say, this is what's going to happen. Oh, and it's good or it's bad. No. So, my friends, as I said, I never like to draw conclusions without having complete information. I never try to draw conclusions prematurely. We cannot make assumptions. Especially an issue like this. This is very, very sensitive. You understand that. And now we have more information. Now we know, and we learned that President Trump is not going to use force. President Trump clearly said that he will not do that. President Trump said that he does not have to use force. President Trump said that he does not want to use force. And President Trump said that he will not use force. And so now people can relax. People can relax. People now have information straight from President Trump. They have information. He said, regarding the use of force, he said he doesn't have to use force, he doesn't want to use force, and he won't use force. So what do you think about that? Now, all the folks in the media, all the folks on social media, all the folks who are on social media aggressively commenting and criticizing and expressing anger through the keyboard, like typing comments and messages and criticizing Trump in the strongest possible words. Oh, he's gonna use force. Oh, we're gonna abandon our NATO allies. Oh, there's gonna be war. Hey, listen, take a deep breath, okay? Take a deep breath. President Trump knows what to do and how to do it and when. President Trump is always about building bridges. He's always about strengthening our relationship with our allies. He's focused on building friendships, partnerships. He has his unique way of doing it. It's not always straight cut. It's not always linear where you approach a country and say, "Oh, let's shake hands. I want to be your friend." It's not always like that. Sometimes it's about, "Hey, we're friends. We've been friends for a long time, but upon review of our historical relationship, I'm seeing that in this friendship, in this alliance, only you have benefited and we've lost a lot. Oh, it's been one-sided. We're friends, but it's been one-sided. We're looking at the trade deals, and it seems that we have been losing repeatedly and you've been gaining repeatedly. That doesn't seem to be fair. So we have to rebalance this. We have to make it fair. Yes, we want to continue the friendship, but we have to do it so that it's a win-win situation and not where the other side wins and we, the American people, we lose. So that's been President Trump's approach towards everyone, towards trading partners, towards defense partners, towards NATO allies. It's about having fairness. I mean, I've used this example before where, let's say you got a friend you've known for many years, maybe once a month or, once every 2 months, once a quarter, maybe once every 6 months, just pick your favorite interval. You go out and you have drinks and you have burgers, watch a game together, on Sunday, and every time you're the one paying for the food for both people. Okay? You go out with your buddy, all right? And every time you're the one paying for your food and paying for your friend's food. If that just repeats over and over again, at some point you're going to have to ask, like, is this a fair friendship? My friend never offers to pay the bill. I'm the one doing it repeatedly. So is it fair? At some point you have to understand that you're being taken advantage of. And it's just one-sided. Okay? I mean, I'm using a very simple example. Life's more complex than that. But, that's what President Trump kind of did to, analyze these historical relationships that we have with different countries. He is seeing, okay, we're doing trade with the world. We're doing trade with countries that we consider to be our competitors. We're doing trade with countries that we consider to be great friends and allies. But upon reviewing the trade relationship, we're seeing that the US has been losing while that other country that we call friend has been winning. And so he says, you know what? Hold on a second. We're going to have to reset this. We're going to have to make some adjustments so that it's a win-win. Because we cannot continue to be on this path where we call you friend, but you're the one winning, we're the one losing in this relationship. And so, my friends, President Trump is about building more friendships, building more alliances, but he does that not by saying, hey, I'm here to be your friend. Tell me whatever you need, I'm going to give it to you. We're going to use our taxpayer dollars to give you whatever you want, and we don't want anything in return. That does not work. That kind of a relationship does not work. And so he goes through each and every trade relationship, each and every defense relationship, defense partnership, and he finds the things that need to be adjusted. And so that's been his approach with Europe. That's been his approach with Japan. That's been his approach with, other countries. And now I feel that our relationship, US relationship with our allies, are much stronger because of the trade deals, because of the adjustments, because of certain things where we had to hit the reset button. It's better. He has built stronger relationships, stronger friendships with countries around the world. And so for anyone to think that, oh, when President Trump's talking about Greenland and negotiating the issue of Greenland, he's going to have a very aggressive approach. No. I mean, one great thing about him is he speaks what's on his mind. He made it very clear to Europe that, hey, there's a real risk because Russia and China are trying to gain more influence in the Arctic region. Those are ambitious countries. They will try to gain more ground. And so something needs to be done. And so Greenland is of strategic importance. And so something has to be done. And so that started the conversation. As I've said in a previous live stream, no one was even talking about Greenland in mainstream media, in mainstream newspapers, in mainstream, on social media. Now everyone's talking about Greenland. Hashtag Greenland is often trending on social media because of how many people are talking about this topic. But previously, before President Trump mentioned it, it wasn't even a country that people talked about. As I have said, yeah, maybe in the academic circles, maybe geologists were talking about the geology of Greenland. Maybe energy experts were talking about the potential energy resources in Greenland. Maybe European political and defense experts were talking about the strategic location of Greenland. But those were conversations taking place in silos, in academic circles, in small groups, maybe in very, in conferences or seminars with specific focus, narrow focus. But conversations about Greenland were not taking place at the level that we see now. So widespread. And so now everyone's talking about Greenland thanks to President Trump for bringing this issue up, for highlighting that there's a gap in the Arctic region, and Russia and China will try to take advantage of that gap. They will try to make their way into the Arctic, through the Arctic, and gain greater control of the region. And we cannot allow that to happen. Obviously, because we've seen what Russia can do, as Russia has done to Ukraine. So Europe is facing certain risks. And that's why, in order to address those risks, strong defense is necessary in the Arctic region, and it can only be made possible if the United States of America steps in and does something. And it's only possible if we get cooperation from Europe. Does that make sense, my friends? I know I've been talking for a long time, but I hope it makes sense. Please let me know. I see a lot of people here. Thanks so much for tuning in, my friends. I appreciate you. Kay Cooper, thank you so much. Evelyn says, yes, it does. Thank you, Evelyn. I appreciate your support always. Jason is saying, yes, it does. And there are others saying, someone's saying, no, it doesn't. All right, that's fine. That's fine. If you want to say, no, it doesn't make sense, Toss, and whatever you're saying doesn't make any sense, that's all right. That's all right. You are entitled to your opinion. So, yeah, keep it up. Mary's saying, good job. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Others, please make sure that you're liking the video, right? 42 likes in 40 minutes. That's pretty good. That's like technically more than one like per minute, right? I mean, you have to take into account the decimal. 1 point something likes per minute. So that's great. Please make sure you're liking the video. Help the video get to 50 likes and beyond. And I have more to talk about. I'm not wrapping it up. Every now and then I take a little break, so I can interact with my friends, old friends and new friends who are just tuning in, new friends who are subscribing to become a part of this community. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. All right. So, all right. Thank you, my friends. Let's continue. So yeah, regarding use of force, no, it's President Trump. He understands the kind of diplomacy that works. He's a straightforward person. He speaks what's on his mind. He makes his expectations public. He makes it very clear that other countries and the people around the world know what exactly President Trump is hoping to achieve. And, if somebody approaches President Trump in a very honest manner, a foreign country, a foreign leader, then I think it's very easy to work with President Trump, to negotiate and to collaborate and to form a relationship of cooperation, international cooperation. It's all about the willingness. It's all about the willingness to advance shared interests. Okay. Now, America is the strongest country in the world, obviously, not just because of our military, but also because of our economy. We have a lot of leverage in international relations because the world depends on American consumers. The world depends on American technology. Our allies depend on our support, and Europe in particular is heavily dependent on the United States of America for trade, for defense, and more. And so where there are ties, where there are economic ties, defense ties, disputes or problems can be solved through dialogue. Okay? Because both parties have shared interests. And so what we are seeing right now is that constructive steps are being taken to address the issues surrounding Greenland. The Secretary General of NATO understands, the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, he understands the importance of increasing security in the Arctic region. There is common understanding that Russia and China have a tendency to try to spread their influence, as I already mentioned. While Russia and China can be unpredictable, the predictable part about these two countries is that they will always look for ways to grow in size and to become stronger militarily and economically. Russia and China also, one very common thing about both these countries, they have something in common, and that is that they can be very patient. The Chinese leaders, the Russian leaders can be very patient. They can wait for extended periods of time. They can wait for the right time to take an action. They can wait for the right opportunity. They don't operate based on months. They operate based on years. They can wait years to take a certain action, to look for that right moment where they can take some action to get what they want. And so look how patiently Putin has been operating for so many years. How patiently. I mean, Putin has been in power for such a long time. US presidents have been elected. They have served their terms, and new presidents have been elected. So in the US, we went president after president after president. But you look at Russia, there's Putin, waiting patiently, looking for the right opportunity to gain more influence. And so that's why I say that the Chinese leaders, the Russian leaders, they operate based on the long term. We elect a president. A president can be there for 4 years, at a max of 8 years if it's 2 terms, and then the new president comes in. So we've seen different presidents over many decades, many years. But you look at Russia, there's Putin, okay, waiting patiently for the right time, for the right opportunity. And that's exactly what he did when he saw that Joe Biden is in office, Joe Biden being a weak president, Joe Biden showing zero leadership. Putin saw that weakness in the White House, and Putin used that opportunity to go after Ukraine. He saw that gap. It's like soccer, okay? I mean, maybe not the perfect example, but you understand what I'm saying, right? I mean, the players are exchanging the balls, okay? One side gains control, then the other side gains control, and then they keep moving forward towards the goalpost. And then whenever there's an opening, whenever they see an opening and the defenders are trying the best to defend, there's the goalkeeper, but this offensive team may find an opening at the right time, make a pass, and then score a goal. Okay? And that may be the only goal scored in the entire game. So maybe not the perfect example, but the idea is the same. Putin is always looking for an opportunity. How can he gain more land? How can he capture more land? How can he gain more influence? How can he, do whatever he wants to do to make Russia more powerful, more influential, and more aggressive? And so when Biden was in office, Putin saw that opening. He saw that weak leadership in the White House, and he realized that, Biden's not going to be able to do anything if Russia goes after Ukraine, and that's exactly what happened. Russia waged that war. And now we see how difficult it is to bring that war to an end. And so now, you think about the Arctic region. Think about the Arctic region. Russia and China are looking for that opportunity so that they can gain control of the Arctic region. And that's why, my friends, you got to understand, that's why we need to ensure strong U.S. presence in the Arctic region. And that's why Greenland is so important. The Arctic region is where we will see more focus in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, in the decades to come. The Arctic region is where you will see greater emphasis. The Arctic region will become more and more prominent whenever we're having conversation about geopolitics. More security and defense plans will be made by the US and our allies, focusing on the Arctic region. There will likely be greater shipping traffic in the Arctic region. There will likely be more expeditions. There will likely be more voyages. There'll be more explorers going to the Arctic region to explore the potential of the region in international security and commerce. There may be new projects in the Arctic region and in Greenland to extract natural resources. There's so much potential, and so that's why the region has to be made secure, and the United States of America, in collaboration with our European allies, and also in collaboration with Canada. I mean, Canada has to play a big role in this. Absolutely. Canada has a very important role to play in this, and I hope that the Canadian leadership understands this issue. Okay? I mean, I don't have a lot of confidence when I look at Canada's leadership. I mean, you know, what can I say? I mean, they are our neighbors, but they don't have anywhere near the kind of strong leadership that we have in the US right now with President Trump in the White House. But Canada also has to play a big role in this. I mean, geographically, Canada is very important whenever we're talking about Greenland. So the US, Canada, our European allies must work together, okay, to ensure that we as allies on both sides of the Atlantic, that we stay strong and we develop a solid plan to secure this region and to stop the Russian and Chinese influence. So, my friends, I am glad that President Trump and our European partners are finally going to have constructive dialogue, and this framework for a deal regarding Greenland, I think, is great. So I am happy learning what I have learned about what happened in Switzerland, the conversations, and I'm very happy to see President Trump's statement, which I discussed a short while ago, and I feel very optimistic and very hopeful. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to say for this live stream. Any questions for me? Do you have any questions you want to ask? Go ahead. Don is saying congratulations. Thank you, Don. Thank you so much. Any questions for me? Go ahead. Go ahead, my friends. Okay. Don is asking, do you see World War III coming? You know, interesting question. I actually did a live stream on this sometime in the last few weeks. Let me see what the title was. Give me a second here. I'm going to look it up here. Okay, so this was a live stream that I did on December 14th, 2025, December 14th, okay? December 14th of 2025, that's when I did that live stream. The title was World War III, Likely or Unlikely. So that live stream was, let's see how long, just under 50 minutes, so not even an hour. So you can go and listen to that, but also keep in mind that a lot has happened in the world since then. And whenever we're talking about, okay, how likely is World War III? Is it likely or is it unlikely? I mean, that changes. That can change from day to day, okay? Um, Depending on geopolitics, depending on what's happening in the world, depending on discoveries, depending on, everything. So um, maybe I'll discuss that again very soon. Um, but if you want to hear what I had to say on December 14th, that would be the video that you listen to. Now, the goal is always peace. The goal is always peace, and I think the United States plays probably the most important role in ensuring peace. And so, President Trump is the peacemaker, and as long as he's in power, I would say that we are going to be making more progress towards greater peace. But then also there are forces around the world that tend to be more aggressive. I mean, look at Vladimir Putin waging war against Ukraine. So those acts always raise the likelihood of a greater regional conflict that may end up being a global conflict, which would be world war. But everyone's going to lose if that happens. World war, no one's going to gain. All right, it's going to be a loss for everyone. Now that the way wars are waged, it has changed. It has changed so much, right? I mean, yes, if there's a war, there will be soldiers on the ground wherever a war is taking place, but it's more than that. There are drones, there are advanced, um, missiles and all that, and there's AI being integrated in defense systems, and so and it's World War or any kind of war doesn't mean that it's just firepower. It could be cyber warfare, right? It could be, technological um, stuff that are not like the traditional war. It could be, cyber warfare. So, we I think each and every person has a role to play. Okay, you may not be a president, uh, a prime minister. You may not be a member of a parliament or a member of a congressional body. You can be a civilian, a person living your life, going to work, earning a paycheck, buying groceries, putting food on the table, raising kids, ensuring their good education, saving for your retirement. Just you can be very busy with your own personal life, but you do have a role to play in ensuring global peace. Yes, because if we all have a mindset that we want peace, we don't want war, we don't want conflict, we don't want conflict in our neighborhood, we don't want conflict in our city, in our state, we don't want conflict in our country, we don't want conflict in the world. So if more and more people have that mindset that we want peace, we want greater peace and harmony, then that multiplies. One person, then the next person, then the next person. It adds up to hundreds, to thousands, to millions, to billions. So we have to have that mindset that prioritizes peace. And so that's just like, you start with the grassroots and you spread this peaceful mindset, and then we can avoid war. Okay. Anyway, it's probably more philosophical than you expected, but um, yeah, no, I think collectively, if we prioritize peace, we can have greater peace. But, there's always that possibility that a small conflict may spark a regional conflict and a global conflict. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm always praying for peace, my friends. Always praying for peace, greater peace. We can all live in harmony. We can all coexist together. Okay, people with different skin color, people from different religious backgrounds, people speaking different languages. We can all get together. We can all live in peace. Yeah, absolutely. The diversity that we have in this world. Who created this diversity? God. God did, right? God gave us different languages. God created different people who look different, different skin color. Um, and, you know, people follow different religions, but you know what? It's the same God. It's the same one creator. So, yeah, well, I believe in peace. I believe we can all live together on this earth that we call home, in harmony. I believe that. So, yeah, anyway. Kay Cooper says amen. Thank you, Kay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. So, my friends, that's pretty much all I have for this live stream. Do you have any more questions for me? You have any questions for me? No? If not, that's all right. All right. Okay. So, my friends, I'm going to end this live stream now. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all. And there's actually, oh, the snow has slowed down, I think, or has stopped. Anyway, stay warm, stay healthy, stay safe. Please subscribe if you have not done so yet. And thank you for tuning in for this live stream. And I hope you stay connected because there's going to be a lot more to discuss going forward. So thank you so very much. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies, and may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. So thank you once again. Have a wonderful night, and I'm going to be back again very soon with more videos and more live stream.